Hi and welcome to our new series on prospect theory. So this is a bit of a mixture between economics and psychology in a way, because this is a theory about how how we weigh different things based on certain percentages to win things. And you might think, oof, that's boring, but it's very interesting actually. It's important to you to know about this too, because it affects a lot of daily things, like a lot of things that when we make decisions about things, we weigh things disproportionately much compared to others. And I will go into this a bit more in detail in other videos on this topic, but to start off with, we're just going to go through the basics of prospect theory. So before let's start out with something called estimated value. So for example, if you have 50% chance to win $100, then your estimated value is $50, because that is, if you do that an infinite amount of times, your average result is going to be $50. That is what an estimated value is. So if we, for example, ask someone to pick between $50 and a 50% chance, or a 100% chance to win $50 or 50% chance to win $100, in general, the person is going to pick the first, or we would believe that a rational being would pick, it wouldn't matter which one it picked. We would say 50% that picked the either one, or 50% that picked the other one. But as you might have thought, you probably thought that I would rather pick $50 than 50% chance to win $100. And this is what their study is, like prospect theory is about. It's a concept by Daniel Kahneman and his companion Amos, and he has discussed this truly in his book Thinking Fast and Slow, which I highly recommend. And it's about how we value these different things. So for example, things at the extremes. If there is a 100% chance to win something compared to 95% chance to win something, we give our own prospect value, we could say it is, our prospect value of always winning something is 100, because that is what we really believe. Like, well, it's perfect, we can't lose anything. But if we have a 95% chance of winning something, we actually feel that it's lower than that. It's around maybe 85 to 90 in prospect value to win, to have 95%. And this means that there is a certain gap between 95% and 100. There's a bigger gap than it logically should be between 100% and 95% chance to win something. So the 5% increase from 95% to 100%, it increases a lot in our prospect value. But if we would, as you could see, but if we would take, for example, 45% to 50% chance, it would feel like nothing. And it's very interesting how much we pay for certainty in those kinds of things, especially when it comes to big risks. So, for example, if we could do something like, you with the 95% chance you will be fully cured, but if the 5% chance happens, then you will die in a medical operation. But then there's also this other alternative, that is, you will be in coma for 2 years, but it's a 100% guarantee to succeed. And then you might be like, do I want to take that? Then it's hard to choose between those different things, because maybe, or like, let's take a long time, half of the rest of your life you will be in coma. So what do you do then? Well, the one of the things that's going to happen, either you have a 1 in 20 chance to die, or you have half your life that's left in coma. And it's a very tough decision. It's an extreme case, but what prospect theory shows is that you're gonna pick the coma part more than you're going to pick the percentage to die part, because it's the certain option. And that is very interesting. And there's also some kind of thing like that in the lower parts of the spectrum, because the difference between 0% to win $1 million and 5% to win $1 million is very big. And so it's reflected that way in prospect theory too. It's like maybe between the 0 to 15 or 0 to 20, like it's very overvalued. And this just shows that we're very irrational when it comes to percentages of winning money. But one thing I haven't taken up so far is that this all is affected by the current amount of money that you have too, everything. So it's different from different reference points to win, have 5% to win, chance to win $1 million, so let's take this example, okay? So you have 5% chance to win $1 million. This means that your estimated value is going to be $50,000 from this. But if you get the chance between 5% chance to win $1 million and a certain $10,000, most of people who are in a lower economic standing would choose the guaranteed $10,000, even though it's $40,000 more in estimated value in the other thing. But people who are very rich, they might not care about the $10,000, but they really care about, well, a 5% chance to win 1 million is better for them than the $10,000. So in that way, everything is perceived by the reference point that we were talking about earlier. So this means that different people have different outlooks on making risk choices. And this is important for you if you're choosing to gambling something, for example. If you have a very small chance to win a very huge amount of money, so you have like 0.01% chance to win $100 million, for example, then that is what lottery does. It banks on your perception of that the prospect value of the thing is bigger than it actually is, and thus it makes money through it. And there are a lot of these cases that you can identify in your own life, and that's interesting. So yeah.